Hola, buenos dias. Today we're going to be talking about travel planning. I am going to share with you all of my tips, tricks, strategies, resources, and basically my entire methodology of how to organize an epic trip. So, I think you're going to want to stick around for this one. I'm Ana Cristina, this is Lara, and we are travel experts. I specialize in itinerary curation, and what that means is basically just designing the perfect itinerary for myself or for a client. And that is taking the client's needs, travel style, budget into consideration. So I'm super excited about this video because that means that I am well on my way to my dream trip. I'm about to embark in the most epic itinerary curation journey of my life. I'm basically going to spend the next 6 months. I'm going to spend the next 6 months planning the trip of my dreams. And for as long as I can remember, Japan has been my #1 bucket list destination. I'm going to Japan. Yeah, baby. We're going to Japan. I can't explain to you how much this has been in the making, at least in my mind. It has been so long that I've been wanting to go, but I have refused to make that leap because I've been broke for so long or because I didn't have 3 weeks to spare. And I refuse to go to Japan for less than 3 weeks, because it's gonna be a thing. It's gonna be a journey. It's gonna be epic. It's gonna be filled with so many different types of things, so much food, so many experiences. Like, we're going crazy. We're going wild. We're gonna do it all when we go to Japan. So we still have 6 months to go. Today is November 3rd, and I'm not traveling until the 1st of April. So we have 6 months. A lot can be done in that time. That's what we're gonna be doing. You're gonna help me plan my Japan trip, and I'm gonna show you every single step of what my process looks like. All right, so get your notebooks, get your pens, and let's plan this motherfucking trip.
All right, so let's get started planning your dream vacation. I've actually been knee-deep into the planning process for quite a few months now, and I'm excited to walk you through everything that I've been doing because it's coming up. Time is flying. We've been waiting for so long, and the day is finally approaching. Like, how am I going to handle when I'm actually there? I can't imagine what it's going to be like when I walk through Shibuya for the very first time. I'm gonna freak out. This video is going to focus specifically on the pre-planning process. So if you studied social sciences in university, this might take you back to the time where you felt like you were planning the research more than you were actually doing the research. But don't worry, we're gonna get to the good stuff in the next video. But this part is crucial to really stay organized, because when you're planning such a massive trip, you don't want to get overwhelmed by the process. And it can be overwhelming. So this planning stage is super important. The very first thing we need to do is to have a solid trip planning methodology. And that's basically what I'm going to give to you through these videos. So at the end of the series, once I have finished the planning process, I will have a lot of very good resources like infographics and things that are just easily accessible for next time when you're planning another trip. So you don't have to come back and watch all the videos. So the first thing is the methodology. Second step is to choose your platform. What platform are you going to use to track all of your research and your ideas and your bursts of inspiration and the recommendations that people give you? Where are you going to track that? In today's age, we use so many different resources and platforms that we just get scattered across everything. So for example, I use Google Drive like it's my Bible, right? I use it every single day, all of the different Google apps, but then I also use Evernote, and then I also like writing things down. And recently I've decided that it's so important to keep everything in one place. And I've been working on what's called my second brain. That's a whole concept of organization. You can research that. And I'm using now Notion as my primary platform. But you can use whatever is easiest for you. That doesn't really matter to put this methodology in place. You just have to choose what you're comfortable with. So choose it and stick to it. And whenever you found a very useful website, instead of bookmarking it, you want everything to go back to this one specific place, okay? Because then if not, you'll get lost. You don't have to be like, oh my God, where did I write down the name of that restaurant? And then you're looking on your email and you're looking in your notes in your phone. And I know we have all been there. So choose your platform. Before you even get started with the actual research and with the itinerary creation and curation, you want to create a structure of what it is you're going to research. So this really depends on your personality, on your interest, on your destination, on your budget, and all that. So this step is all about creating your different categories of what it is that you're going to be researching. If you are a big foodie, then you can create different categories for different kinds of restaurants, right? If you're trying to do street food, if you're trying to do fine dining, or if you're trying to do ramen like me, I have my restaurant category and then I have a specific category for ramen. So that's how much in detail you can get. But also, museums, maybe outdoor activities, and etc. You get the point?
All right, so I just want to go ahead and show you what my Notion looks like. Again, you can do exactly this in whatever platform you choose. And this is where we're going to be keeping track of our bulk research. So everything that we read and we want to make a note of, we're going to go back here and put it in these categories. This is where you can just dump everything. It doesn't necessarily have to be super organized, but you just put it under the category that it belongs to. This is the perfect place to keep track of people's recommendations or of little informations that you read, such as the best time to visit the seafood market is before sunrise. After we've done all of our bulk research here, we will filter and go through the list, select where we definitely want to go, and that's where we're going to be using Google My Maps. So we're using a combination of these two platforms. There are hundreds of applications that you can use to create itineraries. But what I would really recommend is Google My Maps. We want to keep it simple. We want to keep it accessible. If you're not familiar with Google My Maps, it is not the same thing as Google Maps. This is Google My Maps, and this is what Google Maps looks like. They have very similar functionalities, but Google My Maps has just a few more things that make it a lot more user-friendly, a lot more accessible to create itineraries. I will not be going into detail about how to use Google My Maps. I will be linking some videos below that you can use as tutorials. But the thing about this is that it just makes it very easy to visualize your routes, where you are going, and you can 100% customize your destinations and the places that you want to visit. So you can make different categories and you can choose the colors, you can choose the icons. So this would be my recommendation. But if you're using something else, then that's also totally fine. Another thing is that when you're doing your research, you could, in theory, just use this application and not have another external platform if you want to keep it more simple. So you could just find the places you want to go and just automatically insert them on here. But I find it very useful to have a place like, for me, Notion, where I just dump articles. Sometimes I want to go back to a really good article that I read, and having these bookmarks here for me is useful. So open Google My Maps, get familiar with it, watch a few tutorials, because this is going to be the most important tool in our itinerary curation process.
Once you have these things very clear and defined, your methodology, what are the different steps that you're going to take in the research process, you need to have this outlined somewhere. And that somewhere is going to be the infographics and the guides that I'm going to provide to you at the end of the series. Then you're going to have your platform. There's only one place that you're going to be coming back to for everything related to your trip, and you're going to know exactly what you're going to be looking for. So whenever somebody is being like, oh my God, I went here, I went there, and they're just spilling all the tea about their trip, you can pick up what they tell you and insert it back into a very specific place in a specific category. So if you've done all of these things, then click onto the next video and we can get on with the actual research.